Hi, this is Vasily and you watch the Redshift Mograph randomization tutorial. Let's watch the reference video. Now go to Cinema. Here I have specific layout where we have viewport on the right and Redshift render view on the left and Redshift render graph on the bottom. As usual, I will start from the cube. It would be my wooden block. Let me just reduce its size to 20 centimeters and let me zoom in a bit. Okay, I need to create a material. Let it be a Redshift standard material. I need to center on the nodes. Now I will apply this material to the cube and I will click play here. Okay, it's visible now. I will create a wood pattern using the standard Redshift ramp, but I will change mapping to circular and I will connect this to the output just to not have any shading and diffuse. Now I'm going to multiply this ramp several times. It can be done either by doubling its node, but I prefer a different approach, so I will reset this to default. I need a shader, name it mul. It's a multiply shader. So let me connect these two shaders, connect this to output, and let's multiply maybe by 5. Currently you see that our ramp is shrinked and we have a lot of white color. That's because here we have 100% white and on the corner we have 500% white, and visually it's the same white. So we just need to add one more node. It will be fraction node. Now if we will pass this value through this fraction, we will get that 5 ramps going from the middle to the corners. Okay, now let me move it like this. I'm going to create new ramp. And this ramp is going to be like this. Now in initial ramp we have a adjust tab. Let's just add some noise here. That's too much, maybe 0.1. Let's change the frequency to maybe this one. Okay, and now I'm going to colorize this by creating additional ramp node. I will select all these nodes. I will change interpolation to maybe step, distribute this, and I'm going to change this black color to light brown and this one to light yellow. Okay, I think it's time to put this shader into a material diffuse channel. Okay, also in render settings, change render to Redshift. Now let me select this original ramp with black and white pattern and I'm going to add some noise here. It would add some additional lines. And maybe these black patches are too white. Okay, let's leave it here. And now I'm going to change that pattern, because currently that radial shape is appearing on all the faces of my cube, but I'm going to have these radial lines only on top and on the bottom. To do this, I can just select this material, change projection to flat, and after that I will select UV tool, and I'm going to rotate this by 90 degrees. Right click on the tag and select Fit to Object. At that point it's remind wood pattern a bit, but I'm going to replicate the same method in the Redshift, so I will change projection to UV mapping, and here in Redshift I will select UV projection, and I'm going to place this UV projection between this black and white ramp and this fraction node. Okay, here we have to set coordinate space to object, and here we need to change that scale to maybe 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Yeah, even less. 0.1, 0.1. Also I need to rotate this by 90 degrees. Okay, we have almost the same look as we had when we changed this material, but we have much control over this representation, what we will use later. Now let me adjust the colors a bit. In my opinion, it's a bit dark. Okay. Also, I'm going to use this black and white pattern to change the roughness. Actually, for our roughness, I'm going to create maybe dome light. Let me disable the ground. And on the cube I'm going to create a render tag named display, and here I will change these checkboxes. Also I'm going to switch to quick shading, or maybe quick shading with lines, and I will change the cube X segments to 5 and Z segments to 5 as well. So here on the top of my cube I will have a dense polygon mesh. It would be like a direction of our wooden bricks. Okay, here material. I'm going to change that roughness value. And I would like to have different roughness for the brown and for the yellow pattern. So I need a range node. I will put this ramp here. Let me kill all these inputs. And the black lines would be maybe 0.4 and the white lines would be 0.6. Now let me drop this into reflection roughness. And also I'm going to create bump node. think that's enough. Now let me optimize nodes and layout it. I think we are ready now to create a grid out of this cube. Let me propagate this material here. And here in cloner I will define multi-instance here, and the count has to be 10 by 10 by 10. And step has to be 21, 20, 21. What is the size? Okay. So currently we have a gap between our cubes on the horizontal plane, but vertically where stays each on each other. Okay, now you see all the clones look the same, and I'm going to change this. Let me initially just randomize its position a bit. And maybe rotation a bit. Okay, and now let's do a magic. I will create a user attribute. Let it be user scalar data, and here I'm going to use the index ratio. Now let me connect this node to output, and this attribute is matching clone index, what is between 0 and 999, to black and white color. So I'm going to create multiply node, and here in multiply I will put this into input 1, and I will use as input 2 a constant. I'm using this almost all the time, but it can be different. Let me connect this to output. Currently it's fully white. There are no issues with that. I'm going to use add node, and I'm going to add some constant, say 0.333. Let's connect this to output as well. And now I'm going to add a fraction node, and you will see how it works. Okay, let me move it a bit here. And I'm going to put this fraction node into this multiplier node as input 2, and it should start from a 5. I'll put this into input. Here in the input I will change it from 5 to maybe 8. I will put it here. And let me check how it looks like. If I will look from the top, it doesn't look very different. Actually, we have sort of a slices between our clones, but it's different to that pattern. And so each slice has its own pattern. I don't know if it's Redshift bug or Cinema bug. Actually, each instance has to have a different pattern, but that's enough for our needs. And let me now switch to that cloner. I'm going to add some randomness in rotation. Let me put it here. I will name this as a random rotation H. Here on parameters I will disable position, disable colors, and I will enable rotation 360, and here I will create a random field, and here in remapping in the contour I will use a step mode with value of 4. Now I'm going to duplicate this and name this as rotation P, which means the pitch rotation. Here in parameter I will change it to 0 and this to 180. Here on the fields I will change step to value of 2. Also I will select all these random fields and change this random mode from noise to random. In the second random field I'm going to have a different seed. I'll put this into the vectors. Now I'm going to duplicate this and name it as a rotation B. Same way here in random field I will change the seed. And into the parameter I will reset this and set this. Okay, and this random position scale rotate I will place as a last vector. The name is as PSR. Some cubes are overlapping each other, that's because we are in no transform space, and with in random PSR I'm going to change transform space to a vector. And let me disable this indices showing. Oops. Okay, all my cubes staying on top of the bottom cubes, but we have some randomness in rotation and position. We have straight lines on the edges, and I think we can change some settings in the UV projection. It might be degree of 1 and it might be degree of -1. Okay, take a note, here in rotate we have 3 values. Actually it's a vector with 3 components, x, y and z, and here on offset we have the same. And luckily for us, every instance might have a color. So if we will add a color to each instance using the random effector, for example, let me disable position, enable effector color. And each color has also 3 components, RGB, and we can use this RGB color to offset and rotate this ramp. Currently we have too many black colors, that's because when random creates color, it goes beyond the black color, like it's created with super black. That's because of this minimum of -100, let me set this as a 0, and now all instances has the real color, not just the black ones. Now let me name this as a random color. I'm going to put this as the very first effector, and here I will do the same. Now let me create user attribute node. It has to be color. Let me connect this to output, and I will create Mograph color node. You see color is transferring properly. So now I'm going to create vector range node, put this color as an input, and you need to know what color might be defined as RGB parameters, and it comes from 0 to 255, but actually internally it's changed from 0 to a value of 1, and everything is between just a fraction. Okay. So if I will use this vector range for rotation, I need to change this new range, saying from 89 and 91, and this value from -1 to value of 1 and 1. Now I will put this output to projection map. I'll put this into rotate. Let me connect this to output again. Still works. I can change these values more dramatically. Let it be so. Let me optimize and layout it. what is next? I can duplicate this vector change and use it to offset this pattern a bit. Not that much, like maybe from minus 0, 1, 0.01, 0.01, connect this to offset. Now it's offset a bit. Okay, and now we have a very unique pattern. Maybe we can add some fillet. And I think it's time to burn this wood. Let me name this as a wood. And I will create new material. I will name this as a burn. And this time I'm going to create a burn using the maximum noise. Maybe I will change this to electricity. Where is it? Yeah, electric. Connect this to output. Okay, I'm going to change scale a bit. And also I'm going to increase speed to maybe that value. Wasn't visible. Okay. Now if I'll disable all these effectors, you see again that all my noise are the same on each of the instance. I'm going to create color user data, Redshift node, and I will use Mograph color. Again, I need the vector range. And let me go to that maximum noise. Yeah, here we have an offset. I will put it here, and I will connect these nodes. Okay, patterns changed. Maybe I need to select a different pattern. I will change this to wavy turbulence. Okay, I like this. So now let me optimize and layout it. Okay, let me frame it and enable all these effectors. Now I'm going to implement one more effector, and this effector will affect this weight transform value. You may never work with this attribute, but I will show you how to work with it. And in the cloner I will put this plane effector here. I will change random color above it and random position scale rotate as the last effector. Okay, I will name this as a burn weight. Here on the cloner I will show weight of my clones. Here on the fields I create a solid field and I will set this value. Now let me create user scalar data, and here I will choose Mograph weight. Let me connect this to output. You see it fully black, but when we change weight value, it would change from 0 to 100 and the color would be changed from black to white. I will use this to animate our burn progress. Okay, how I will do this? Actually I need a range node and I will put it here. I'm going to pass this user data into input, and I'm going to change it from a value of 1 to a value of -1. And I'm going to add a subtraction node. In first field I will drop a noise. And as I told you, noise is a black and white map, where black means the value of 0 and white means value of 1. So I will subtract this weight from this maximum noise. Let me connect this to output. Okay, and as we use the change range, which means if we have weight of 0, it will be mapped to value of 1, and we will subtract from the noise value of 1. And the weight value of 1 would be mapped to -1, and that node means we will subtract -1, which will mean that we will add value of 1. And I'm going to create one more node, which would be a ramp. In that way we can clump our values to black and white only. We would never have a super white or super black values. Okay, now let me change weight a bit. You see how my noise is drawn from the full black to full white. We will use this as a mask when we will transition from the wood to the coal, and we will use the same map to animate the burn process. Let me have this value of 100. Let me optimize and layout it. Okay. Now let me connect this to the viewport as well. Now I will create, where is my material? Okay, we will have this material as a coal and let it be almost gray color. And I think we need to reduce the reflection so much and add the roughness. Okay, now let me create a ramp. I will use it for the emission channel. Okay, so it starts from the black, when it would go sort of a dark red. After that it would be light yellow, dark orange maybe, and full black. Let me drop this into emission channel. And here in the emission I'm going to set emission weight to value of 10. Okay, go back to weight. Let me adjust that noise a bit. And maybe I need to create additional ramp. And let me create a bump. Let me lay out this, optimize the layout. And I believe in the end I need to turn this call into the hash, so I will create one more ramp. And pass it here. And we will move this into transparency channel, opacity channel. And during the burn progress, cube has to be fully non-transparent, so it has to be white all the way, and in the end it has to become black, so it fully disappears. Go here, let's see the progress. Let me enable background for this. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good. Okay, now let me create one more Redshift standard material, and this material would combine these two materials into a single one, and this new material will combine both this material. Let me center nodes, remove this, drop this, let me create material blender node. I will put this wood as a base material. I will put this burn node as second material. And I need to create a mask, or actually sort of a bug in Redshift. It creates two references. So I need to go to that burn material, and this was a wrong port used. I'm going to use, for example, environment. And I will move this connector into environment. Let me kill this viewport point. Now go to this material. I'm going to duplicate this reference, and I will change this surface to environment. Let me connect this to output, so we will see how it works. Oh, I need to drop it here. Okay, you see what we have both the color material and the transition map from the same shader. But as we used the different sources, we have a black and white and color, and we can use this black and white map as a transition channel. But I just need to create a ramp here. I will use this as a blend color. Let me connect this to output. And let's see how it works. Go back to weight. When weight is 0, we see only the wooden blocks. When we go from 0 to 100, we see how our blocks are burned. When it's fully burned, it becomes black, like it's a coal. When we see sort of the afterburn, and after that, everything is disappear. Okay, now I'm going to animate this weight, not just by animating this value from 0 to 100, but in a very unique way. I'm going to initially to create weight map like a linear field, and we need to define the burn process from the top to the bottom. So in the linear field, I need to go here and change this direction to y+. So you see the burn process started from the top and it would end on the bottom. Or instead of a linear field, we can use a formula field. And we can use one of these properties, u, v or w. And while u works from the left to the right, and v works from the bottom to the top. Let me check how works w. W works from the front to the back, so maybe I will use v, but I need to invert this, so I will type 1 minus v. That's enough for me, and I'm going to animate this using the time field. Let it be odd. Let me increase animation to 300 frames. And here in the time field, in the time layer, I'm going to set this as 150. And I'm going to offset it to maybe minus 150. Okay, so currently all blocks are visible, they are wooden, and while time is passing, we see how all blocks are burning and disappearing, burning and disappearing. I will zoom in a bit. We see that some blocks are outlined, we see maybe polygons, and we need to go to Redshift render settings, go to advanced, and here in the globals we need to increase the transparency count to maybe 128. Yeah, so for now we see much more blocks and we have no issues with wet lines. That's because there are a lot of blocks currently visible. So we changed render setting just to show these blocks behind. Okay, let me change the view a bit. I think we can go to that burn shader and we might change scale a bit of that noise. And here in the ramp, I'm going to increase the noise setting a bit. Let's see how it works. Okay, let me now disable these wait points for a while. And right now I'm going to help Redshift to render that invisible blocks. I just need to hide them. I'm going to create a formula effector. Let me put it here maybe. I will change as visibility. And in the formula field I will type -1. I will disable position and scale and set this visibility setting. So I'm going to use the same fields what we have here in the burn. I'm going to use the same fields in this formal field. To do that, I will just convert these two fields into a group. Let me put it here. I will put out this. This will be a burn. I will put it here. And I need to create a range map layer, and I will type here 99.9. Okay, so I believe what nodes are currently disappear in the render view, that will be disappeared in a viewport, and it should help Redshift to render invisible blocks, but you may notice that Redshift renders it improperly. I don't know if it's a bug or feature, but Redshift doesn't work properly with visibility checkbox, so I will just emulate this. Okay, I would like to have some randomization here, because currently all the blocks start to burn immediately. All the blocks on the top start to burn immediately, and second level start to burn at the same time, and so on. So to add the randomness here, I'm going to use shader field, and for this shader field I will create a standard material. Just double click here, disable reflectance. In the color I will drop a noise, and that is crucial to change space from texture to UV. And maybe I will change this noise to, maybe I will use the wavy turbulence again. I just need some contrast here, and maybe I will increase the scale to 100. Okay, now I will drop this material here. Let me change actually this to plane. Here in shader field I will change channel to color and drop this tag here. And when this tag is selected, I'm going to select UV tool. And here in the tag I will change projection to flat, and I'm going to rotate this. Go to top. And now go back to group field, and here I will change this to subtract. Let's see how it works. Okay, why I used this flat mapping with UV noise mode? I just would like to achieve the effect when the top block would fire firstly, and then the second block, and so on. If I will have a different space here, you might see that this block is still shown, but it has to burn already. So that's why I used UV. Now the top blocks disappear first, then the second one, and so on until the bottom. Okay, there's not enough time to finish burn process, so time has to be corrected to maybe 180, and offset has to be minus 180. Okay, still not enough, maybe I will change subtract a bit. Okay, I think it's time to add some HDRI. We'll use maybe this one. I think this color becoming too green, so I will change this emission ramp a bit from that brown to more reddish. Okay, I'm done with the shading. Maybe I just need to adjust animation setup. To do it, I will add a plane effector. I will put it sort of that place, and I'm going to name this as a burn scale. Let me disable position and color. And what it would do while burn process is coming, this effector will scale our cubes a bit after burn is complete. It's like sort of a smoke. So let me select this scale, uniform scale, 0.2, and here into the fields I will drop the same group field, but also I will create a curve let me change it that way. I'm adjusting this curve to have effect that our blocks are expanding only at that level when it's going to be a smoke. I'm going to duplicate this and name this as rotate. I'm going to change scale rotation. Let's type just these values as an example. And I'm going to rotate our clones while they are burning. And the last one, I will name this as a pop. And it would change the position by y-axis. And I will change transform space to effector. Now I'll select the cloner. And here I will change this PSR effector as the last one. This burn scale has to be here, rotation here, and pop is here. Let's see how it works. Maybe we need to start from the beginning. So cube starting to burn. After that, it would start to pop. Rotate and scale. Okay guys, that's all I wanted to share with you within this tutorial. Obviously you can use the same technique not only to burn the wood. You can just randomize your cloner based on the color or the index ratio or the weight setting. If you have any queries, just reach me in the Patreon, and see you, bye bye.